So let's talk about something that affects almost all of us in the queer community, and that is dating apps. Love them or hate them, apps like Grindr, Tinder, Hinge, and Scruff have become the main way to meet potential partners, hookups, friends, and maybe something even more, right? That's kind of what we're hoping for when we go on a dating app. But here's the truth. Dating apps are a double-edged sword. They give us access to people we might not have ever crossed paths with otherwise, but they also expose us to red flags, to scams, and to unsafe situations, especially for those of us who are in the queer community, for those of us who identify as gay or bisexual or lesbian or trans, and navigating unique challenges in a world that isn't always safe for us. So why do these apps feel safer for us? Well, let's try to put this into context a little bit. Many of us grew up in places where being queer was not accepted. And even until today, only 22 states, Washington, D.C., and 1 territory have explicit laws against LGBTQ plus discrimination. That is 44% of the country. Apps feel safer because we can connect discreetly if we need to. We have a wider dating pool that we can pull from, and we're not risking being outed just by talking to someone at a bar or at a gym, or have to fear that we're going to get beat up in public because of it. But with that safety also comes risk. And as a dating and a self-esteem coach, I want you to approach dating apps with confidence, but also with caution and a level of self-respect. So here are 3 major red flags that I want you to be on the lookout for if you are choosing to utilize dating apps. The first one here is lack of photos or personal information. Now, let's be real. If someone doesn't have a clear photo, it's a red flag. Now, I understand privacy, especially as a gay or a bisexual man in the queer community, but here's the thing. If you're on apps like Hinge, like Tinder, like OkCupid, more of the serious dating apps, which are designed for people to connect, to find a relationship, having no photo or a hidden profile is suspicious. You should have your information on there, because the entire point of you being on there is because you are looking to connect with somebody in a more serious way. You know, who are they? What do they look like? Why are they hiding themselves on the app? Now, on Grindr, we know it's full of faceless torsos and other things, but that's kind of normalized on there, right? That, in my mind, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, makes a little bit more sense. But if you want to get more messages on Grindr, if you want to talk to people a little bit more, I guess, in depth, or like have a real conversation, and I know some of you are probably saying, if that's even possible, it is. Trust me, I had many of them on there when I was on there. Upload a face pic. You would be surprised how many more genuine connections you will find on there. And if you are going to be on Grindr, I recommend paying for the premium option so people can't screenshot your photos. It has more protections, and that allows for your safety to be a priority. No, I don't work for Grindr. No, I'm not sponsored by Grindr in any way. This is just based off my personal experience and the experience of my clients who have also shared with me what has worked for them. If someone refuses to share their photo or any basic information after you have asked them directly, that is a clear indication to me that it is time to move on. The second thing here is inconsistent or vague communication. This one is incredibly common, but it's often ignored. So let me give you an example. You match with a guy, right? You start chatting at first, he's responsive and he's engaging, and everything seems to be going incredibly well, and then poof, he disappears. You don't hear from him for quite some time. He takes 2 days to respond. He replies with one-word answers. He never asks any questions in return because he doesn't really seem to be that interested in you. And listen, I get it. People are busy. Everybody's trying to survive at this point. But consistent communication is an indicator of somebody who is interested. It is not that hard for you to pick up your phone and send a quick text message to follow up or to connect with somebody. And when I was using the dating app, if I knew I was going to be busy, I would tell the person, hey, look, just a heads up, I have a bit of a crazy work day today, but I'll message you when I get out of work tonight, or if I have the opportunity during lunch. So please don't think that I just kind of disappeared. Simple, clear, and respectful. Again, really not that hard. If you're always the one reaching out, or their responses are kind of half-assed, or they don't really seem to be putting that much effort or energy into it, they are probably not interested, or they are hiding something. Also, beware of people who rush intimacy. So what do I mean by this? People who want to meet up immediately without even talking or chatting. People who ask personal questions too quickly, like really personal questions that are a little bit uncomfortable. People who push boundaries before trust is even built. This is often a tactic used by people looking for hookups, or, it's not just people who are looking for hookups, because it's also people who are looking for weaknesses. They are wanting to kind of get in there because it allows them to be in more control of the situation. It's also a tactic that scammers use by trying to manipulate your emotions very quickly. So just be on the lookout for those things. The third thing here is requesting money or personal information. And look, I know that this sounds obvious, but it happens way more than you think. If someone asks you for money, if somebody requests personal information like your address or your social security number, if somebody sends suspicious links on there, block, report, and move on. That is so, so important. And if you have not seen The Tinder Swindler on Netflix, I would highly recommend going and watching it if it's still on there. Such a good documentary. It's a perfect example of how scammers prey on loneliness and on hope. And remember, it doesn't matter how cute someone is or how good their story sounds. If they're asking for financial help before you've even met, girl, it's a scam. Move on. So why does this stuff matter? As queer individuals, we already have to navigate safety concerns, discrimination, fear of rejection, or being outed. And dating apps gives us a beautiful tool for connection, but don't let your desires for love override your boundaries or your need for protection and safety. Because here is the truth. You deserve someone who shows up fully, who shows up honestly and respectfully, not someone who hides, who manipulates, or who plays games with your heart and with your safety. So here's what I want you to keep in mind. Always video chat before meeting someone new. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but for safety reasons, and also gives you a good idea of how serious this person is when it comes to connecting with you, and if there is even any chemistry or interest there, because sometimes people look a little bit different in their profiles than they do on video or in real life. So just something to take in consideration. Meet in public places for first dates. That's incredibly important. Tell a friend where you are going and who you're meeting so they have the information. Trust your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. Dating apps can be amazing. I have had clients meet their husbands on hookup apps like Grindr and Scruff. I've had clients meet their husbands on apps like Tinder and Hinge, you name it. But finding love starts with knowing your worth and setting boundaries to protect it. So, so important. So if today's episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend, or share it with someone who you feel could use the message today. Also, please make sure you are subscribing and following the channel. It just helps to get the channel out to more people so more people can join in. We can have these open and candid conversations because obviously I love sitting here and having these discussions with you guys. And if you are ready to build an unshakable dating confidence and attract healthier connections, book a free discovery call. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation about where you're at and what your goals are and how we can get you there. I will provide you with all the information in the link in my the description of this video. So it's super easy for you to access and get your session booked. Until next time, keep an open heart, keep your standards high, and remember, red flags are not decorations. They are warnings, and you should respect them. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you later.